Hello and welcome. We are living in a new reality. COVID-19 has changed our world in many ways. As you all know, digitalization is at the core of this new reality. In this 30-minute live Newsflash, we want to give you a condensed update on what is changing in the world and where Oracle Cloud is deployed as a catalyst of this change. But before we start, a few housekeeping rules. So I would like to ask you to go on mute and to turn off your cameras. Put your Zoom on active speaker view, and that is at the top right. And also I suggest to make this interactive. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat on the right side of your screen, and we have people that can answer your questions live during this broadcast. COVID-19 has changed the way how we interact and how we work. Actually, I'm broadcasting this live from the Oracle office, and it's the first time I'm back in the office since 9 months. And honestly, I'm very happy to be here. I miss this place, and it feels good to be back, absolutely. So most of you are working from your home office now, and during all your interactions with colleagues, partners, customers, and video calls, of course, you are mostly in video calls. So I'm curious, how many video calls do you have per day on average? So maybe you can answer. Normally you should see now a poll on your screens, and if you can answer a poll, we can see how many video calls you have on average per day. And on the screen here next to me, normally I should see the results appearing. Personally, I have really many video calls per day. Actually, I hardly use my phone during the day. It's one Zoom after the other that comes up. So if you can reply to the question on how many video calls you have on average per day, I hope to see the results. Well, there you are. You see, well, most of us have 3 video calls per day. Many have also 4 or 5, so that's really a lot. And this reflects also the global statistics. So in average, the usage of video calls has gone up times 12, and most platforms used for those video calls are Zoom and Teams. Now as well, we are in a meeting via Zoom, and Zoom is a new and happy customer of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI Gen 2. Now let's take a look at what Larry Ellison, the Oracle chairman, had to say on this in his last presentation from home.
Zoom has dramatically increased the number of meetings it runs, obviously, since the onset of COVID-19. We run millions of concurrent meetings on Oracle's Gen 2 cloud infrastructure. From the time that Zoom gave us their software to deploy in our Gen 2 data center, in our Gen 2 cloud, it took us nine hours to go from the time they supplied us with their technology before we went live for Zoom, and Zoom started conducting meetings on the Oracle Cloud, cloud infrastructure. Every day, the Oracle Cloud moves 7 petabytes a day, every day, in these millions of meetings and 7 petabytes. By the way, petabyte is 10 to the 15th bytes. It's a lot of data.
For our next topic, we're going to have a look at how cloud can be part of the solution. How can technology solve the pandemic? And for this, I'm joined by Bob van Geel, cloud leader at Oracle. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Jan. Nice to be here.
Now, here in Belgium, there is the Corona Alert app that just received the eGov Awards from Agoria. But Bob, I believe you have 3 other examples of cases where cloud technology can help fight this pandemic. Can you start with the first example?
Yes, happy to do so. One of the most important lines of defense against the virus is quickly identifying infected patients and tracing their contacts and putting them in quarantine. And this is where the Oracle technology comes in. The use of apps in this process is key. And I think we have a great example. In Mexico, the government of the province of Querétaro transformed an existing crime-fighting app in 3 weeks into a COVID diagnostic and tracing app by using, of course, the Oracle Cloud technology. And the app starts from a survey on the symptoms of COVID-19. And once the artificial intelligence behind the app identifies the symptoms as COVID-19 related, the patient is either put in isolation or moved to a nearby hospital for treatment.
Okay, and how about the legal and privacy challenges? They seem huge as well.
Yes, indeed. And I think the best thing to do is to read a quote from the governor to address your question. And I quote, "We choose Oracle because it offered us a higher level of data protection and security for our very sensitive data. With Oracle Exadata Cloud at Customer, we've not only been able to keep all of the data behind our own firewalls, but we also can now extend custom web and mobile services to citizens and public officials." End of quote. So again, I think we have here a great example where the Oracle technology, Cloud at Customer, helped to address the security concerns of a customer and at the same time allowing them to quickly deploy and develop a very important system.
Yeah. You also have another example on how cloud technology can help fight the virus?
Yes, let me tell you about the therapeutic learning system. So in the very early days when researchers started looking for the vaccine, Oracle developed a system to collect the massive amounts of data and all in one system, and we were able to uniformize the reporting and the analytics of these trial results, and in doing so, reducing the development time of the vaccines and related medicines.
And how long did it take to develop this system?
Well, this is unbelievable. In 12 days, we took an idea which only existed on paper, and by using our Apex, which is our low-code development platform, together with our cloud infrastructure services, and we developed and deployed this system on a global scale. And I repeat, in 12 days.
That's really impressive. Wow.
Yeah, and I think this is really a case where time is not just money, but time is saving lives.
Yeah. Exactly. So now the next challenge, of course, lies ahead, and that is managing the logistics of the rollout of the vaccine. So Bob, I believe you have an example of how technology can help here.
Yeah, and I'm pretty proud about this example because it shows really that technology can make a difference in distributing the vaccine under difficult circumstances. And this is something Oracle did together with the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change.
You got my attention, so please explain.
Well, you know that in developing countries, the supply chain is crucial and the registration of vaccination data in a structured, easily maintainable fashion is key. So this is what the Oracle Health Management System does. So I think the best thing to do is now to have a look at the testimonial from the manager of this vaccination program in Ghana.
Covering every child in Ghana, every woman who is eligible for vaccination is the most challenging thing.
Yellow fever is an acute hemorrhagic disease. It's being caused by an infected mosquito. There is no treatment for yellow fever, but however, there is an effective vaccine.
We have a lot of challenges which we are trying to manage. Key amongst them will be data, especially in our part of the world where the population base itself is a problem to estimate. What Oracle brings on board is digitization of immunization records. Whatever lessons we learned will help us better manage COVID vaccines. All these needless deaths are prevented. People go about their normal duties without fear of the disease. Oracle is a big thing, and we embrace it totally.
And Bob, are there further plans with this?
Yes, indeed. The Tony Blair Institute is currently in discussion with over 30 countries about adopting this Oracle HMS system to support various health-related public initiatives. As it is based on our Oracle Cloud at Customer technology, the countries can keep their data on their own territory and at the same time taking advantage of the full advantage of the flexibility and the scalability of our cloud application.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you.
The COVID crisis showed that there were more structural problems in the medical sector. Most governments noticed that their medical systems were not resilient enough. And this is where digitization can help through the use of chatbots and artificial intelligence. So let's listen to Bot Supply, a Scandinavian Oracle partner who was able to help the Helsinki University Hospital. Asir?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Jan. As we all know, 2020 has been an unprecedented year, also for our healthcare and first-line support workers. So that's our doctor, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. Technology is often touted as the answer to all our problems. Well, it might not have all the answers yet, but as we heard earlier today, digital assistants are already playing their part in helping alleviate some of these problems. Together with the Oracle Nordics teams, we are helping Helsinki University Hospital to get started on this technology journey. Helsinki University Hospital is one of the biggest hospitals in Europe, employing over 25,000 people. And in many ways, this project highlights how powerful digital assistants can be, especially within healthcare. With the increasing pressure on their staff, the main objective of this project was to use digital assistants to make their access to patient records easier and more seamless. By analyzing historical conversational data, we identified common issues like change password, authentication problems, login problems. And since security was a key factor, we utilized Oracle Identity Access Management, so data can only be accessed by users with approved clearance. The chatbot is implemented with native Finnish language support. It's integrated into the backend system and, of course, deployed on their own Oracle Cloud tenancy for data privacy reasons. The result so far is that the staff has way more time to spend caring for their patients instead of searching for information. Thanks for listening, and over to you, Jan.
Thank you, Asir. And now back to the audience. So what do you think? Would you be prepared to share your medical data to a chatbot in return for better service? So let's do another poll about this. And the question is, would you talk to a chatbot about medical issues? Would you do that? So please answer the poll. Personally, I would. I love innovation, and I have no problem in sharing my medical data with a chatbot. But I'm wondering about the results of this poll, if you are prepared to share that with a chatbot. So maybe we can now have a look at the results. And there you go. Well, it's a close call, but 53% of you are willing to share this information over a chatbot. So, well, what you see is that our audience clearly loves innovation. So that's good. Thank you for that. Oracle keeps on innovating. In one week from now, our founder, Larry Ellison, will announce the new Oracle 21c. We have asked Oracle database advocate Chris Saxon to highlight 3 elements to look forward to about Oracle 21c.
We have a lot of cool features coming for developers in Oracle Database 21c, both in the cloud and on our on-premises databases. 3 I'll highlight today are blockchain tables, adjacent data type, and SQL macros. Let's start with blockchain tables. These help you if you want to ensure that you've got data that is never changed. Think things like audit records, where you want to ensure that nobody has tampered with the data. These guarantee this by being insert only. No one can update a row after you've added it. You can also stop people deleting rows completely or only allow it after rows have existed for some period of time, a week, a month, or whatever it is. So great if you want to have that unchanging system of record. Next, JSON data type. So we've been doing a lot at Oracle to help you work with JSON in Oracle database, most recently with the launch of the autonomous JSON database earlier this year. In 21C, we extend this further by adding the JSON data type. So this is optimized for storing JSON documents. So if you work with large JSON documents, this can give a good performance gain. So look forward to that when you upgrade to the next release. Finally, SQL macros. These help solve a problem which has plagued developers for years when it comes to SQL. If you've got common functions you're going to use in different SQL statements, how do you do it? You could create a PL/SQL function, but every time you call a PL/SQL function in a SQL statement, there is a context switch. This can really slow your SQL statements down. So you have a dilemma. Do you go for nice, maintainable code, but accept it might be a bit slower, or go for pure performance and leave your code base harder to maintain? It's not an easy decision. SQL macros resolve this dilemma. What they do is return a SQL fragment, which becomes part of the SQL statement at parse time. So at runtime, it's as if the function does not exist. So this gives you reusable, maintainable components with the performance of pure SQL. Fantastic feature I think a lot of developers are going to love. If you've got any questions about these, I'll be hanging around to answer them, so please put your questions to me. If you want to try this out, you can do so over on Oracle Cloud, both with our free autonomous services or using your trial credits. Finally, if you want to know more about what's coming from Oracle, stay tuned for Larry's keynote on the 15th of December.
Good. So if you want to make use of this, I suggest that you simply click on the link and you can access the free tier. Then two more actions. So first of all, if you want to have a chat with Chris, that is absolutely possible, because at the end of this session, there will be a 30 minutes meet and greet with Chris Saxon, where you can raise questions to him. And then also don't forget to tune in for the announcement of Larry on 21C on the 15th of December. Next, we have Diana Fernandez, connecting from Germany. Diana is leading Cloud Systems Strategy for EMEA. Hello, Diana, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Jan. Very happy to be here.
Now, earlier this week, I was reading a very interesting article in Forbes, written by Bernard Marr, about the 5 biggest cloud computing trends in 2021. And that's really interesting, what he says about multi-cloud and hybrid solutions, and that definitely caught my eye. And you can see here the conclusions of this article. And multi-cloud approaches will lead to a breakdown of barriers between providers. Of course, you also see the importance of AI, which will improve the speed of cloud computing, gaming that will be increasingly delivered from the cloud, etc. So if it is okay with you, today I would like to talk about those 2 trends, multi-cloud and hybrid. So do you agree with them being a top trend, and what is Oracle's view on this?
Yes, absolutely. Cloud technology is maturing, and so are our customers. We know that cloud adoption is consistently in the agenda of the vast majority of our customers, but there are 2 facts that are impacting the trends. The first one is that each customer is at a different speed of adoption. And the second one is that each customer is actually facing different architectural challenges. These facts are making the multi-cloud and the hybrid models a very important part of the solutions, right? And you see Oracle identifying and supporting that approach with, for instance, the unique strategic partnership with Microsoft defined to accelerate cloud adoption by enabling the interconnected and the very low latency multi-cloud solutions. And our wide range of choices of deployment to accommodate the needs of our customers, from our most advanced autonomous database that is running in the cloud, passing by our unique Exadata Cloud at Customer, or keeping on a more traditional on-premise model.
Yes, and this is one of the topics I really wanted to talk to you about, ExaCC. Now, can you explain to the audience what it is exactly and why it is such an interesting solution for many customers?
Exadata Cloud at Customer is probably the most unique solution of our portfolio. We introduced it in the market a few years back with our Generation 1, and at the time we had a very significant amount of customers. But when we announced the Generation 2 around more or less a year ago, we clearly saw the higher adoption that we were aiming for. Exadata Cloud at Customer is a solution that is built to address several workloads like database consolidation and modernization for OLTP, for data warehouse, for actually DR as well, disaster recovery. And it's especially designed for those customers that want to take advantage of cloud, but they have different limitations because of data sovereignty, data residency, regulatory compliance, latency challenges, right? But if you ask me really what it is, let me explain it with a very simple word, right? Exadata Cloud at Customer is a piece of our Oracle Cloud data center, in this case the Exadata Cloud, brought into our customers' data center. That way our customers can have the benefit of Oracle Cloud, security, flexibility, scalability, performance, name it, right? But maintaining the data within their premises. And because it's part of our Oracle Cloud portfolio, you can also take advantage of some cloud services, like, for instance, autonomous database, that makes the solution even more interesting.
Okay. Now, is there a specific profile of customers using this technology?
The first ones that show interest were the heavily regulated industries and some leading countries in EMEA. But once the word got out there and the customers started experiencing the benefits of Exadata Cloud at Customer, we saw a very significant increase across all the geographies and all the industries. So right now we have a very big variety. For instance, near your home in Luxembourg, we have Belux Assurance. They are using Exadata Cloud at Customer to run a critical third-party application and expansion and consolidation of databases. And much farther, Segel in Saudi is the IT company that is helping the pilgrims to go to Mecca. So they choose the Exadata Cloud at Customer because of the sensitivity of their data, and as well the elasticity, because they were experiencing very large peaks in very specific times, right? These are two of the examples, but obviously there are many more across EMEA and as well, obviously, across the world.
Good. So let's talk about hybrid models. What is Oracle's vision exactly on hybrid models?
When we talk about hybrid models, one of the most challenging parts for our customers is to decide what goes to the public cloud and what stays in their data center. Because with most of the solutions that are available right now in the market, once you make that decision, it's very difficult to change it, right? We realized that we could challenge that by having exactly the same infrastructure on premise and in the cloud, and giving that choice of deployment back to our customers. That's why in the specific case of Exadata solutions, the Exadata on-premise that sits on our customer's data center is the same Exadata that is part of the Exadata Cloud at Customer solution, and the one that is in the Exadata Cloud Service, this one being our cloud data in our cloud data centers, right? And then autonomous database are actually additional options for our customers. The first one, the on-premise, fully controlled and managed by our customers. The second one, the at customer, we are introducing the cloud operations, but still the infrastructure is sitting at the customer data center. And the Exadata Cloud Service is the full cloud solution. That makes that decision that I was referring before much easier for our customers, because we know that the consolidation and the modernization of the environments is done in increments, whenever is the right time for our customers. And that choice is giving them the best solution for them.
Yeah, okay, good. Now just to finish, any recommendations for our customers that are listening today?
Well, data management is probably a hot topic for many of our audience today, and we got the data fragmentation and the complexity of the current infrastructure as one of the main or two of the main enemies that we have right now. Therefore, I probably have one single recommendation, or maybe it's a request. So if I may, I will ask to give a few minutes of your time. We will explain you how we approach this challenge, how we build a solution where we can combine the power of our Converse database with the best platform to run them, with the autonomy to make it more secure, more cost-effective, more efficient, all with the free choice of deployment, whether it's on the cloud, whether it's on-premise, or whether it's at the customer model. I promise, I think it will be very, very worth of your time. And that will be my one single request.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Diana. And for those of you that are listening, there will be a Q&A session in one of the breakout rooms with Diana Fernandez. So right after this broadcast, you can click on the link and have a chat and a Q&A with Diana Fernandez. Thank you very much. And of course, you can not only join the breakout room with Diana Fernandez, but there's also another breakout room, like I said before, with Chris Saxon. So you can choose which breakout to go to and have a chat with them. So this was it for the live business update. I hope you enjoyed it, this Newsflash. Please remember to watch your mailbox and also oracle.com so that you can register for the launch of 21C by Larry Ellison. And this was it for today. So I hope you enjoyed this event. Stay safe and take care. Thank you very much.